Glorified be the name of the Heavenly Father, Yahweh or Elohim. Glorified be Mashiach Yahweh Shai. And glorified be the Rukakadash. Okay, this is going to be part 4 of prayers for deliverance, strength, and perseverance. We're going to do a song of Deborah, because Deborah means worker bee, and Baruch means blessed. So the blessed worker bees, all the brothers and sisters, they're striving to get it right, spread the gospel of peace. And then we're going to do Nehemiah and a couple more things, like three more prayers. So let's get it fine. Son of Deborah. Okay, Judges 5. Then Deborah and Barak son of Abinah sang on their day, saying, when locks are long in Israel, when the people offer willingly, bless the Most High Yahweh, O Elohim. Hear, O kings, give ear, O prince. To the Most High I will sing. I will make melody to the Elohim, the Yahweh, O Elohim of Israel. So the Most High, when you went out from Seir, when you marched from the region of Edom, the earth trembled, and the heavens poured, and the clouds indeed poured water. The mountains quaked before the Most High, the one of Sinai, before Yahweh, O Elohim, the only one, the Elohim of Israel. In the days of Shamgar, son of Ahath, in the days of Jael's caravans ceased, and travelers kept to the wayside. The peasantry prospered in Israel. They grew fat and plundered, because you arose, Deborah. Arose as a mother in Israel. Yeah, the worker bees, man. When you gods were chosen, the war was in the gates, with shields or spears to be seen amongst 40,000 in Israel. My heart goes out to the commanders of Israel, who offer themselves willingly amongst the people. Blessed be Yahweh, O Elohim. Tell of it, you who ride on the white donkeys, you who sit on the rich carpets, and you who walk by the way, to the sound of musicians at the watering places, where they repeat the triumphs of the Most High, the triumphs of his peasantry in Israel. Yeah, man, how the meek shall inherit the earth. Then down to the gates marched the people of the Most High. Awake, awake, Deborah, awake, awake. Wake up, worker bees. Utter a song, arise, Barak, the blessed ones. Lead away your captives, O son of Abin-Oam. Then down marched the remnant of the noble. The people of the Most High marched down for him. Against the mighty, from Ephraim they set out into the valley, following you, Benjamin, with your king. From Mashir marched down the commanders, and from Zebulun those who bear the marshal's staff. The chiefs of Issachar came with Deborah, and Issachar faithful to Barak. Into the valley they rushed at his heels. Amongst the clans of Reuben there were great searches of heart. Why did you tarry amongst the sheepfolds, to hear the piping for the flocks? Amongst the clans of Reuben there were great searching of heart. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan. And Dan, why did he abide with the ships? Asher sat still at the coast of the sea, sitting down by his landing. Zebulun is a people that scorned death, Naphtali too, on the heights of the field. The kings came, then fought the kings of Canaan. At Tanakh, by the waters of Megiddo, they got no spoils of silver. The stars fought from heaven. From their courses they fought against Sisera, and the torrent Kishon swept them away. The onrushing torrent, the torrent Kishon, march on my soul with might. Yeah, man, you know what I'm saying? They fight against the master bomb, man, you know what I'm saying? The stars of the northern hemisphere, you know what I'm saying? The throne of the Most High, you know what I'm saying? From Orion, the Pleiades, you know what I'm saying? The bear, the eagle, all those, the four animals that cover the throne, you know what I'm saying? New heavens, new earth. Now it says, then loud beats the horse's hoof with the galloping of his steeds. Curse Merah, says the angel of the Most High. Curse bitterly its inhabitants, yeah. And then the zodiac from that constellation to go around like cowards. Because they did not come to help the Most High, to the help of the Most High against the mighty. Most blessed of women be Jael, the wife of Heber, Kenite, of 10 dwelling women, most blessed. He asked water, and she gave him milk. She brought him curds in the lordly bowls. She put her hands to the tent peg, and her right hand to the worker's mallet. She stroked Sisera the blow. She crushed his head. She shattered and pierced his temple. He sank, he fell. He lay still at her feet. At her feet he sank, he fell. Where he sank, there he fell dead. Out of the widow she peered. The mother of Sisera gazed through the lattice. Why is the chariot so long in coming? Why tarry the hoofbeats of his chariots? Her waist ladies make answer indeed. She answers the questions herself. Are they not finding and dividing the spoil? A girl or two for every man. Spoil of dire stuff for Sisera. Spoil of dire stuff embroidered to pieces of dying work. embroidered for my neck as spoil, so perish all your enemies, Yahweh Elohim. Yet whoever is not with the Most High is against him. But may your friends be like the sun as it rises in the night, and the land had rest for 40 years. Yeah, man, like the sun, the real son of man, you know what I'm saying? Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai. Okay, so that was the song of Deborah. And now let's go to Nehemiah, you know what I'm saying? Nehemiah is a good book, man, you know what I'm saying? And let's go to chapter 8, man. Ezra summons the people to obey the law, okay? When the 7th month came, the people of Israel being settled in their own towns, all the people gathered together into the square before the water gate. They told the scribe Ezra to bring the books of the law of Moses, which the Most High had given to Israel. Accordingly, the priest Ezra brought the law before the assembly, both men and women, and all who could hear it with understanding. This was on the first day of the 7th month. He read from it facing the square before the water gate from early morning until midday, in the presence of the men and the women and those who could understand, in the ears of all the people who were attentive to the book of the law. If whoever wants to buy and be part of the remnant, you know. Okay, the scribe Ezra stood on the wooden platform that had been made for the purpose, and beside him stood Maltitiah, Shema, Anala, Uriah, Hilkiah, and Masiah on his right hand, and Pedaiah, Mishael, Marshiah, Hashum, Hashbadana, Zechariah, and Meshulam on his left hand. And Ezra opened the book in the sight of all the people, for he was standing above all the people. And when he opened it, all the people stood up. Then Ezra blessed Yahweh Elohim, the great Elohim, and all the people answered, Amer, Amer, lifted up their hands. Then they bowed their heads and worshipped Yahweh Elohim with their faces to the ground. Also Joshua, Bani, Sherebiah, Yamin, Akim, Shabbetai, Hodiah, Masai, Kelita, Asariah, Josaba, Hanan, Peliah. Levites helped the people, and the Levites helped the people to understand the law while the people remained in their places. So they read from the book, from the law of the Most High Yahweh Elohim, with interpretation. They gave the sense so that the people understood the reading. Yeah, man, that's what we got them preached to the end to the dead. So whoever wants to take it, take it. And Nehemiah, who was the governor, and Ezra the priest, and scribes and Levites, and the Levites, who taught the people, said to all the people, This day is holy to Yahweh O Elohim. Do not mourn or weep, for all the people wept when they heard the words of the law. Then he said to them, Go your way, eat the fat, drink sweet wine, and send portions of them to those whom nothing is prepared. For this day is holy to Yahweh O Elohim. And do not be grieved, for the joy of O Elohim is your strength. So the Levites stilled all the people, saying, Be quiet, for this is a holy day. Do not be grieved. And all the people went their way to eat and drink, and to send portions, and to make great rejoicing, because they had understood the words that were declared to them. Okay, see, there you go. So, man, if you're going to get it, you're going to get it, and rejoice in it, man. That means that's your salvation. Now, we're going to finish it with Ezra 9. That's National Confession. What everybody should be doing right now. Now, on the 24th day of this month, the people of Israel were assembled with fasting and in sackcloth and with the earth on their foreheads. That was an old custom, dirt on your forehead, that's shamefaced. Then those of Israel descended to separate themselves from all the foreigners, and stood and confessed their sins and their iniquities of their ancestors. They stood up in their place and read from the book of the law of Moses, the Most High, the Yahweh Elohim, for a fourth part of the day. And for another fourth part they made many confessions and worshipped Yahweh Elohim. Then Yeshua, Bani, Kadmiel, Shabiah, Beni, Sherabah, Bani, Shanani stood on the stairs of the Levites and cried out with a loud voice to the Most High, Yahweh Elohim. Then the Levites, Yeshua, Kadil, Bani, Hodiah, and many more stood up and blessed the Most High, Yahweh Elohim, from everlasting to everlasting. Blessed be your glorious name, which is exalted above all blessings and praising. And Ezra said, You are Yahweh Elohim, you alone. You have made the heavens and the heavens of heavens, with all their hosts, the earth and all that is on it, the seas and all that is in it. To all of them you gave life, and the hosts of all heavens worship you. You are the Most High Yahweh Elohim, who chose Abraham and brought him out of Ur of the Chaldeans, and you gave him the name Abraham. And you found his heart faithful before you, and made him with a covenant to give to his descendants the land of Canaan, the Hittites, the Amorites, and the Perizzites, and the Jebusites, and the Girgashites. And you have fulfilled your promise, for you are righteous. Yeah, just remember that, man. Our forefather, he got pulled out of idolatry, from out of zodiac star worshiping. And you saw the distress of our ancestors in Egypt, and heard their cry out at the Red Sea. You performed signs and wonders against Pharaoh and all the servants his servants, all the people of his land, for you knew that they acted insolently against our ancestors. You made a name for yourself, which remains to this day, and you divided the sea before them, so that they passed through the sea on dry land. But you threw their pursuers into the depths, like a stone in mighty waters. Moreover, you led them by a pillar of a cloud, as a chariot, and by night by a pillar of fire, to give them light on which they should go. You also came down also on Mount Zion, and spoke with them from the heavens, and gave them right ordinance and true laws, good statutes and commandments. And you made them known your holy Sabbath to them, and gave their commandments and statutes and a law through your servant Moses. For their hunger you gave them bread from heaven, that's the manna, and for the thirst you brought water for them out of the rock. And you told them to go into the possessions and possess the land you were sworn to give them. But they and our ancestors acted presumptuous and stiff-necked, and did not obey your commandments. They refused to obey, and were not mindful of the wonders that you perform amongst them. Ungrateful Israel, like always. And saying they stiffed their necks and determined they return to their slavery in Egypt. That's why we're back in bondage. But you are Elohim, ready to forgive, gracious and merciful, slow to anger, and abundance and steadfast love. And you did not forsake him, even when they had cast an image of a calf for themselves, and said, This is your God, who brought you out of Egypt, and had committed great blasphemies. You in your great mercy did not forsake them in the wilderness. The pillar of cloud that led them in the way did not leave them by day, nor the pillar of fire by night. They gave them light on the way by which they should go. You yourself, you gave your good spirit to instruct them at the Rock HaKodesh, and did not withhold your manna from their mouth, and gave water for their thirst. 40 years you sustained them in the wilderness, so that they lacked nothing. Their clothes did not wear out, their feet did not swell, and you gave them kingdoms and peoples, and allotted to them every corner. So they took possessions of the land of King Sihon of Heshon, the land of King Og of Bashan. You multiplied the descendants like the stars of the heavens, and brought them into the land that you had told their ancestors to enter and possess. So our descendants went in and possessed the land. And you subdued before them and the inhabitants of the land of Canaanites, and gave them into their hands, which their kings and the people of the land, to do with them as they pleased. And they captured fortified cities and rich lands, and took possessions of houses and all sorts of good, vineyards, olive orchards, fruits in abundance. So they ate, delighted themselves in all your great goodness. Nevertheless, they were disobedient, ungrateful Israel, like always, man, and rebelled against you, and cast your laws behind their backs, and killed your prophets, and you had warned them in order to turn them back to you. And they committed, it says, great blasphemies of their enemies who made them suffer. Then in the time of their suffering they cried out to you, and you heard them from the heavens, and according to your great mercies you gave them saviors who saved them from the hands of their enemies. But after they had rest, they again did evil before you, and you abandoned them to the hands of their enemies, so that they had dominion over them. Yet they turned and cried to you. You heard them from heavens, many times rescued according to your mercies, and you warned them in return in order to turn back to their laws. Yet they acted presumptuously and did not obey your commandments. They turned and stubborn-shouldered and stiff-necked and will not obey. Many years you were patient with them and warned them by your spirit through the prophet, yet they will not listen. Therefore you hand them over to the peoples of the lands. Nevertheless, in your great mercy, you did not forsake them, for you are gracious and merciful. So, man, once again, over and over and over. But this would have been the hardest and most brutal and longest captivity, the last one. Now, therefore, Yahweh Elohim, the great and mighty and awesome Elohim, keeping covenant and steadfast love, do not treat lightly all the hardship that has come upon us, upon our kings, officials, priests, prophets, ancestors, and all the people since the time of the kings of Assyria until today. Yeah, same story, see? You have been just in all that has come upon us, for you have dealt faithfully and we have acted wickedly. Our kings, our officials, priests, ancestors have not kept your laws or heeded the commandments and the warnings that you have given, even in their own kingdom, and the great goodness you bestowed on them. In large riches you set before them. They did not serve you and did not turn from their wicked works. Here we are slaves to this day. Yeah, now we're slaves to this day. Slaves in the land that you gave to our ancestors to enjoy its fruits, its gifts, and rich goes to the kings whom you have set over because of our sins. Yeah, Esau and the Hethians exploit all the goods now. They have power also over our bodies and over our livestock and their pleasures, and we are in great distress. There you go. See, so now you know what I'm saying that you better confess, clean, man. Go far behind Hashem Yahushai. Most High be willing, providing with part 5 of this, or if not, whatever the Spirit leads me, man. Hey, stay the course, focus, meditate on the Word. Shalom.